Welcome to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost with me, Charly Leetham. If you're a small business owner looking to simplify technology and get real, actionable advice from someone with 35 years of IT experience, you're in the right place. Every episode, I'll dive into tools and systems like email, CRM, marketing and tracking, and I'll break them down into bite-sized tips you can use straight away. Your time is valuable, so let's get straight to the point. It's time to work smarter, not harder. Rise and Shine. It's your dose of business tech inspiration with me, Charly Leetham. Episode number 607. I'm rugged up. I'm slightly cool still. Looking forward to summer. But that's me. I know not everyone likes summer. Today we're going to be talking about whether your business should be using a web application firewall or a website application firewall. It's a bit of an in-depth topic. I'm going to try and keep it as high level as possible while still giving the information that needs to be given. So when you hear the term firewall, you are probably thinking big network infrastructure devices that sit out there and protect you and act like a block between you and the internet. Maybe you are thinking big corporate IT departments, big budgets, or maybe you're thinking just that little router, that little modem router that you have that connects to the NBN or your ADSL if you're in Australia, or your internet for the rest of the country, rest of the world, that keeps your network, your internal network, safe from the outside. Then you hear web application firewall, and you log into your website and you set up hosting as this. And do you want to enable the WAF, the WAF, not the WAF, the WAF? Do you want to enable the web application firewall? And it's going to cost you X number of dollars a month. And if you're like me, you look at you go, why do I want to do this? Why do I want to spend that extra money? Is it really worth it? Some of you may just decide that, well, if it's offering it to you, it's telling you it's giving you extra protection, you're going to do it, but you're not really sure what it's giving you. So let's talk about what a WAF, a web application firewall, is, how it differs from firewalls, the generic term firewalls, what it does for you, and whether you really need one or not, whether you want to be spending that extra money on it or not, or where you can get them, or whether you can use other services and have them included in the package that you're getting. So what is a WAF? What is a web application firewall? How does it differ from other firewalls? Firewall is more of a generic category. Basically, a firewall is any system that filters traffic between a trusted network, my internal network, your internal network, the network that your computer connects to, and an untrusted one, the internet. You might be sitting in a coffee shop. That is still a trusted network. It's a trusted network in that it's contained in and of itself. If you were to unplug the internet, the devices could still see each other, but they can't see the internet. And the internet, the untrusted one. When I talk about coffee shops and stuff and say they're trusted, that's very, very generic. It's very loose. It's less trusted than sitting here in my home or my brother's house as it is today. And connecting to their network, but still they're trusted networks connecting to untrusted networks. The firewall sits between them and filters traffic. A web application firewall is a specialized branch of that idea. It's a firewall that focuses specifically on protecting websites and web applications. Okay, that's a lot of jargon, and it's kind of repetition. I say the same thing and I use the same words, and I'm sure you're sitting there going, yeah, right, Charly, what do you mean? Let's see if I can dig into it. Network firewalls block and allow traffic at the network level, and by the network level we mean at the IP address, at the actual internet port level, at the protocol level. If you think of it as a stack, and I was taught data comms as a stack, there's a certain level of there's a certain number of layers of traffic that form the network level. It stops at the IP address pretty much. The IP address, when you're talking IP addresses and UDP and TCP and IP, they're all protocols. Okay, so a traditional firewall, a traditional network firewall, cares about things like which IP address is trying to connect, which port is it using, and is that protocol allowed? I'm going to try and give you an analogy there. It's like the outer gate to your business. So if you think about a house with a fence around it, the fence is like your firewall, the gate that people come in. Sorry, the fence is the firewall, and the gate is the ingress and egress point for the firewall. At the gate, you can stop people, you can stop delivery drivers, for example. You say, no, I don't want delivery drivers. That's like saying the protocol is not allowed. You can allow people in at a certain point in time. That might be similar to the port. Yes, I'm going to allow them in at this in this narrow bandwidth, in this narrow scheme of things. I'm only going to allow the pastor. I'm only going to allow the postman. I'm only going to allow the delivery drivers through. I know if you're not blocking them, you might allow them. That's like the IP address. So think of it as a gateway, and you decide who comes through that gateway at what time. But at a really, really low level. It's a really, really, it's not down to I'm allowing Joe, I'm allowing Sally, I'm allowing, you're really lower in the transport level on that. I don't know if that analogy fits. I'll see. If not, let me know. I'll see if I can come up with a better analogy for you. A web application firewall inspects the network traffic, the HTTP, the HTTPS requests for malicious content. So that's much, much, much higher in the protocol stack, in the communication stack. It's different. It doesn't just check who's knocking, it checks what they're carrying in. So if we were to say, look, we're going to allow delivery drivers through, and a delivery driver comes and they get through the gate and then they hit our web application firewall, and we say, well, yes, we're going to allow the delivery driver through, but hang on a minute, what are you carrying? Oh, you're carrying bills. I don't want bills. That's the postman. You're carrying bills. I don't want bills. We're not letting you through. That's what a WAF does. It's just, okay, we know that your type of traffic is allowed through. What are you carrying? Oh, no. No. We don't want bills. Go away. We're not going to let you through. Oh, you're carrying gift cards, yes, we'll let you through. Okay, so that's what the web application firewall does. It takes a specific type of traffic that we've already allowed through to our website, and it looks at it to see who's knocking and what it's carrying, what they're carrying. It understands the structure of the web requests, the headers, the things that define what it is, the cookies it sets, the queries it carries, the form inputs that are on in that request. That means it can spot an attack that is disguised as a normal login or form submission. If you think about it, some of your biggest hacks come from your login form. People just hit your login form. They try different ways of getting into your login form, your login system, and send different data requests in to see if they can get through it. Form submissions are similar because they can inject data into it and say, hey, if we do this, can we trick it? Can we make the system break? A web application firewall knows those tricks. It's constantly updated with all the new tricks that come through, and it says, no, that looks like it's malicious. We're going to stop you. You cannot get through. So that's what a web application firewall does. Network firewalls miss web layer attacks like this, like SQL. If you've heard of SQL injection, that's what we're talking about with the login and the form submission. It sends something in to hit the database to try and get the database to hiccup and let them in. If a hacker enters a malicious SQL code into a contact form or into a login form, a network firewall doesn't know about it. It doesn't care about it. All it sees it as is normal traffic. And that's what I was saying. That's the analogy I'm trying to draw is, yes, at a general level, you're a delivery driver. Delivery drivers are allowed through. We're going to allow delivery drivers through. You then need to hit them at the next level to say, well, what are you carrying? So that's why network firewalls are good. it stops a broader level of traffic. But as you get closer to the center, you need to get more and more specific, and you need to get more and more granular higher up in the stack to say, what is it you're doing? What are you carrying? What are you going to send me? What are you giving me, to make sure that it's not malicious traffic? They work together. That's the thing that I'm trying to get to there. And I don't know if that landed. So let's try if I can see if I can make that land. You need both. You need to have a network firewall, and you potentially need to have a WAF. I'm going to say potentially, because we're going to cover when you may or may not want to have one, or how you can do it. But they work hand in hand. At the very minimum, you do need a network firewall. If you do have a WAF, you need the WAF on top of the network firewall. You can't have one. You can't have a WAF without a network firewall. It doesn't. It's not going to work for you. You're going to have all sorts of problems. So they work complementary to each other. Complementary to each other. How are they deployed? How is a WAF deployed? Okay, so we've spoken about the general topic here, the general premise of it. How are they applied? Because it's always sort of, you get the, oh, do you want to have a WAF? Do you want an on-server one? Do you want a cloud one? Do you want to, what does it all mean? So typically, I'm going to break it down into 3 categories: software, appliance, and cloud. Software, it's an on-server software WAF. These run on the same server as your website. So they run as an application on your server outside of your website, but they run on the server. These have been around. These have actually been around for years. If you've heard geeks like me talk about ModSec rules and mod security, that's what a WAF is. They look at the type of traffic coming in. They've got a series of signatures that they compare traffic to, and say, yep, that works. No, it doesn't. Yep, that matches. No, it doesn't. So ModSec is one way of doing it. So software WAF. They're effective, but it requires maintenance, and it does take server resources. So if you start getting hit with a lot of hackers, your security software can actually take up more resources than your website, and it all comes to a burning heap. Cats and dogs living together, all of those sorts of things. When we talk about appliance, what we mean is a hardware device. An appliance, if you think of an appliance like a kitchen appliance, it's a piece of hardware that works in your kitchen. It has a specific requirement. Your mixer, your jug, your toaster, they're all kitchen appliances. This is a network security appliance. It's a piece of hardware. It typically sits in the data center near your web server, or in the same area as your web server, and it's a physical device that sits between the network firewalls and your server, and does exactly that. What we're doing there is we are offloading the processing power into the appliance. We're taking the pressure off of the server, and we're putting it into a physical device, into a piece of hardware to do all this. They're powerful, but they're a dedicated device. You've got to have the hardware, you've got to buy the hardware, you've got to maintain the hardware, you've got to maintain the software on the hardware, and when the hardware fails, you've got to replace it. It's very powerful. For small, medium business owners, it's probably a little bit too much. It's probably a little bit of overkill. So that's where cloud-based WAFs come in, cloud-based web application firewalls come in. It's a relatively new thing, and by relatively new, I mean a few years. It's not like it's just come out and it's the next thing since sliced bread, next best thing since sliced bread. They've been around for a while. They work really, really well. They're quite, in that respect, they're a mature technology, as mature as technology gets these days. And they can work within your hosting provider. Might say, look, we've got a cloud-based WAF that we want to offer you. What that normally means is they've got a big piece of hardware sitting there that they run up these little ones on to give you that security. Okay, it's much like a shared server. You can go to services like Cloudflare, AWS, WAF, or Security, and route your traffic through their systems first. They do the filtering. They will filter out the attacks and then pass the safe traffic onto your site. It's kind of the best of both worlds in that respect, in that you've got big infrastructure that is shared amongst a lot of people. You're not maintaining one piece of hardware specifically for your business. The company looks after all of that for you and they package it out as a service. It tends to be a little bit more cost effective than buying a hardware appliance to put in front of your server. Right, so I mentioned Cloudflare, and I like Cloudflare as a provider. I use Cloudflare to do all my DNS management. It also then does my CDN, my content delivery network. Their free plan includes a very basic web application firewall that you can enable. It has a managed rule set that blocks major, widely known vulnerabilities like Log4Shell or SQL injection attempts. You can have a custom number of, there's a handful of custom firewall rules that you can add in yourself. The trade-off is that it's not as customizable, as comprehensive as their paid tiers, but for most of my clients, it's perfect. For most small businesses, it will be perfect for you. So if you're looking at wanting to do something like that, the Cloudflare free plan is great, and you can use their built-in web application firewall. So why would we go for a cloud WAF over a dedicated WAF? Why would we go for one in general? Well, we'll cover off why we would go for one in general in a minute, but why cloud over the others? I've already discussed that. For most small and mid-sized businesses, cloud WAFs, they're that really nice sweet spot. No hardware, no maintenance. It's a service. Someone else handles all of that for you, and you get that economy of scale because they're running it for more clients than just you. They can do more with less, essentially. And so the next question that I had on this, because I get asked it a lot, but I'm running a plugin. My WordPress website's running a plugin, it's running a firewall plugin, or it's running a security plugin that says it's got a firewall on it. Do I need to have a WAF? Maybe. The difference is that the plugins will filter the traffic after it hits your server. That's because they run inside your site, not outside of your site. So that means even blocked attacks can still eat up your CPU and memory. It is a huge problem once you start to become a larger site and you start getting a lot of visits. It's like monitoring. The more you monitor, yes, the more data you get, but the more you monitor, the more resources you use. So it's a real trade-off. Do I want to do this on my server? Do I want to do it while my inside my website? Do I want to offload it a little and just run it on the server and let the server handle that? Do I want to push it out into another application appliance elsewhere in the web and just let my server serve the traffic that it's coming, so do what it's meant to do? The plugins are great. Honestly, I would probably do a belts and braces approach. I would probably put in a WAF and run this on my web server anyway, just in case something slips through that the WAF doesn't get, that you don't want to allow. So just to sort of bring that back in, the WAFs will block a cloud WAF, a web application firewall in general, will block traffic before it even reaches your site. A plugin will block the traffic once it reaches the site. So you've got that little bit of a grey area there. The plugins are also, when we're talking WordPress or any other site, any other application that uses add-ons and provides plugin that provides a security, they're specific for your site. They're not broader. They don't hit a whole range of things. They will hit things very, very specific to your site alone. So it may miss a broader attack. So they're two different types of protection. They both work well. Honestly, they work well together. They work best together. I've spoken a lot about security, saying that you need to have a really hard, crunchy outside that's really, really hard to get through. And if someone does get through, it starts to get softer and softer and softer as you get towards the middle. It's like nougat, right? Nougat, I guess nougat, hard, crunchy outside, nice, soft, gooey inside. Once you're through that outside shell, you can start accessing things and things start to get easier. That doesn't mean to say that you don't have protections on the inside. It gets easier and easier and easier the closer you get to the center. That's why combining a web application firewall and a security plugin is a great method of ensuring you've got good security. Should your business be using a web application firewall? I mean, it's a good question. Should you? If you run a business that collects data, handles logins, or processes a payment, probably you want to be protecting yourself against as many attacks as you can. The trick with security is to make sure that it's a good balance between cost and return on investment. Well, it's a good return on investment. So it's a good balance between cost and benefit. Are you paying more than you're getting in a benefit? What does your risk analysis say? What if you really want this to work out whether you should be doing it or not, you need to sit down and do a threat and risk assessment. What are my threats? What's the likelihood of them happening? What's the possibility of them happening? What's the probability of them happening? How would I mitigate each of these risks? And a web application firewall is one of them. Okay, so this is a high probability, high possibility threat. A web application firewall will mitigate that down to a low probability, low possibility threat. That's a good investment. That's a really good investment, because an impact of high probability, high possibility attack is likely very high. The cost of that is likely very high. If it mitigates it down, it's a no-brainer. But you need to sit down and do those types of threat and risk assessments. Whether you want to run it on the server, whether you want to run it on your own hardware or the cloud, well, that's up to you. I would certainly be recommending you look at a cloud service. My preference would be that you go and look at Cloudflare's WAF service, only because I know it, I like it, I use it myself. And I think Cloudflare do a fantastic job for the fee that they charge me, which is nothing. They're really, they've got a great model there. They really do. Okay, so web application firewall. It sits between other firewalls and your website. It protects you from application level attacks that actually start to try to log in, attacks that use login, attacks that use form injections, attacks that use loading web pages and sending data to those web pages to try and make them break. That's what it does. Is it worthwhile to you? Highly likely. Should you consider one for your business? Yeah, you should. Should you consider spending lots and lots of money on one? Probably not, but there are some really good options out there that will protect you from that. I would love to know your feedback. Have you implemented a WAF in your business? Have you been paying for one? Have you not known what it does? Has this helped you understand it? Have I raised questions that I haven't answered? Whatever it is, I'm going to invite you across to my community, askcharlyleetham.locals.com. Come and join the conversation there. You can always leave comments on these videos wherever you are watching or listening to them. If this video has been helpful, please give it a like, maybe share it with a friend. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you find out when I drop more content. And a reminder that I do these episodes every other day. So guys, I will see you the day tomorrow. Bye. Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in to Rise and Shine, your daily business tech boost. I hope today's episode gave you some actionable insights that will make your business tech work smarter for you. If you found value, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with other small business owners who could use a daily boost. For more tips, tools, and resources, visit www.askcharlyleetham.com. Until next time, keep rising, keep shining, and let's make tech simple together.